All right, it's me, John Thomas Hill, hosting the Rutherford Sports Network podcast. This is a little quick podcast I'm going to do. I'm sure you've heard by now that the name of the new name for the Cleveland baseball team, formerly known as the Indians, is now the Guardians, based upon a bridge in Cleveland that's well renowned there locally. Well, that may be resonant with locally. This is the problem with baseball. They're not thinking beyond just locally. They've got to start thinking more regionally and in some cases nationally. You've got the Yankees, you've got the Dodgers, who are a national team, you've got the Braves, who are definitely a national team from the years on TBS, and plenty of this. But the name change was coming. We knew that was going to happen. But my thought was it was going to be either the Spiders, which there is a reason for that because back in the end of the 19th century, the baseball team in Cleveland was known as the Spiders. And there is no other major professional sports team with that name. So why not have a team named the Spiders? And, of course, the Rockers would be a great name for a team as well. But the Guardians name, the more I think about it, I can get used to it. It's not the ideal name. I think Rockers or Spiders would have been better. But, they're the ones that made the decision. They're the ones that came up with the name, so they're the ones that are going to have to live with it, But on another matter, I've been seeing in Atlanta Braves fan groups concerned this may prompt the Atlanta Braves to decide to change the name. And there are going to be some people who go, well, we don't want to change the name because we don't want to engage in cancel culture and all this and political correctness and all this, which is bullocks. I mean, the Cleveland Indians offended two particular groups: Native Americans / indigenous people here in the United States and Canada, and Indians from India, as weird as that sounds. Kind of crazy, but that's the way it goes. The Braves, could you still call them the Braves if you got rid of, since they've gotten rid of the they need to get rid of the tomahawk, obviously, to get rid of the Native American iconography. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I'm a professional. You get rid of that, but could you still call them the Braves? I don't know if that would be good enough, and I think there is a solution. Call them the Atlanta Hammers, after Hammer and Hank Aaron. Be proactive about it. It would get not just indigenous people into it. It would get African American people back into it, and people would eventually rally to it because you're celebrating the greatest Brave of them all, which is with Hank Aaron, the home run leader to many of us who believe that it's not right that Barry Bonds got a lot of those home runs by being on PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. So some of us believe that Hank Aaron should still be considered the home run king. But the Atlanta Hammers would do a lot to cement the legacy of Hank Aaron. And I think that will definitely happen. Now, there are other teams that have issues, not necessarily in Major League Baseball, but you've got the Kansas City Chiefs, which would not really be that difficult. You'd have to change Arrowhead Stadium. You'd have to put a sponsor there. You'd have to basically make it out to be like, you'd use like police chiefs, fire chiefs. Where's Shaggy at? Oh, sorry, we got some cats having some issues here. One of the other mama cats is messing with one of the kittens from another cat. So I'm kind of wondering to make sure that's, nothing goes wrong that way. Anyhow, that's no big deal. But the Chiefs could change their logo, and it would be okay. Change Arrowhead Stadium to say a sponsor's name, which wouldn't be anything shocking. You keep the name, have like the Fire Chiefs or something like that. You could celebrate firemen and all that, and have a big fire truck on the field. And the word chief itself is not necessarily something that's necessarily about indigenous people. The word chief actually predates us coming to the settlers coming to the United States, immigration in the United States, or exploration in the United States. It's an old term, basically. It's short for chieftain. And that's a term that's been used way back in the day. Now, when you think of chief, you think of either police chief, fire chief, or to use an outdated and offensive term, Indian chief. Aboriginal chief, whatever you want to call it. But, nowadays, we don't think about that anymore. It's police chief or fire chief. So, given that police aren't exactly the most popular people in the world right now to a lot of people, not many people are going to be complaining about firefighters. So, of course, we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. The Chiefs could make the name change, or not the name change, but logo change and all that, and it would work out tremendously well. There will be some people who are unhappy about it, but then again, there's always some people who are unhappy about it no matter what you do. But to recap, I'm not really a fan of the Guardians name, but I guess I can get used to it. I think the Braves will eventually have to change their name. I think the best name would be the Hammers. I think should be proactive about it. Go ahead and do it. I really should have done it before Hank Aaron passed away earlier this year, but it is what it is. And that, times change. Doesn't erase the legacy of any of these teams and all of that. So, anyhow, that's my bit of sense. We are going to talk about sometime next week the news that Texas and Oklahoma are planning to leave the Big 12, and we're going to have the carousel of conference realignment apparently happen again in the near future. So stick with us, folks. We'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.